What if I told you that the biggest reason the middle class stays broke is not because they don't work hard, but because they are following a system that was never designed to make them wealthy? Millions of people wake up every morning, go to work, and spend decades chasing financial security. Yet after years of effort, many of them are still living paycheck to paycheck. The truth is, the middle class is caught in a silent financial trap that most people never notice until it's too late. In this video, we are going to uncover the hidden habits, beliefs, and financial patterns that quietly keep the middle class stuck. Once you understand these patterns, you will start seeing money and success in a completely different way. Welcome to Rich Mind Sophia, a place where we explore powerful ideas about wealth, mindset, and financial freedom. On this channel, we break down the psychology of money, the habits of successful people, and the strategies that can help you build a stronger and smarter financial future. If you want to escape the financial traps that hold most people back and start thinking like the wealthy, make sure you stay until the end of this video. Have you ever wondered why so many hardworking middle-class people never seem to become wealthy, even after decades of working, saving, and trying to make the right financial choices? On the surface, their lives appear stable. They have jobs, homes, cars, and steady paychecks. They follow the rules they were taught growing up. Study hard, get a good education, find a reliable job, and work consistently for many years. Yet despite doing everything they were told would lead to financial security, many middle-class families still struggle to build real wealth. They remain trapped in a cycle where they work harder every year, but their financial situation barely improves. The truth is that the middle class often faces a system of habits, beliefs, and financial structures that quietly prevent long-term wealth from forming. Most people never notice this system because it feels normal. Everyone around them is doing the same things, making the same decisions, and following the same path. But when you look closely, you begin to see that the path most middle-class families follow is designed more for stability than for wealth creation. The first reason the middle class struggles financially is something known as the salary trap. From childhood, many people are taught that the safest path in life is to earn a steady paycheck. Parents, teachers, and society often encourage young people to focus entirely on getting a good job with a stable income. While having a job is important and provides security, relying completely on a paycheck can limit financial growth. A salary exchanges time for money, and time is a limited resource. There are only 24 hours in a day, and only a certain number of years someone can work. Even when people receive raises or promotions, their income usually grows slowly, while expenses often rise at the same pace or even faster. Over time, this creates a situation where people feel like they are progressing, but their financial freedom remains distant. Many middle-class households eventually reach a point where most of their income is already committed to living expenses, such as housing, transportation, insurance, taxes, and daily necessities. Because of this, they may have very little left to invest or grow wealth. Another powerful force keeping the middle class financially stuck is lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation occurs when spending increases every time income rises. For example, someone receives a promotion at work and immediately upgrades their lifestyle. They move to a larger home, lease a more expensive car, take bigger vacations, or spend more on entertainment and dining. At first, these changes seem harmless because the person can technically afford them. However, each upgrade raises the baseline cost of living. Over the years, the difference between income and expenses becomes smaller instead of larger. Instead of using higher earnings to build wealth, many people simply build a more expensive life. From the outside, it may look like success because the house is bigger and the car is newer. But financially, the person may still be living paycheck to paycheck. This pattern is extremely common in middle-class communities because social expectations often encourage it. People feel pressure to match the lifestyles of friends, coworkers, and neighbors. When someone in the neighborhood buys a new car or renovates their home, others feel the urge to do the same, even if it slows their financial progress. Another major difference between the wealthy and the middle class lies in how money is used. Wealthy individuals tend to focus on acquiring assets. Assets are things that produce income or increase in value over time. Examples include businesses, stocks, rental properties, or investments that grow through compound interest. The middle class, however, often spends a large portion of income on liabilities. Liabilities are items that require ongoing spending and rarely produce income. These may include expensive vehicles, large homes with high maintenance costs, consumer electronics, and lifestyle purchases that quickly lose value. While there is nothing wrong with enjoying life and buying things that bring comfort, problems arise when liabilities consume most of a person's income while assets remain small. Without enough assets producing income, financial freedom becomes extremely difficult to achieve. Many middle-class families also face challenges related to debt. Credit cards, car loans, student loans, and mortgages are common financial tools, but they can quietly limit wealth if not managed carefully. Interest payments slowly transfer money away from the borrower and toward lenders. Over many years, these interest payments can total tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is money that could otherwise have been invested or used to build financial security. Debt is not always harmful when used responsibly, but when large portions of income go toward servicing debt, there is less available for investing and saving. Education also plays an interesting role in the financial struggles of the middle class. Most people are encouraged to pursue higher education to improve their career prospects. Education can certainly open doors and increase earning potential, but it does not always teach financial literacy. Many highly educated individuals understand complex subjects in their professional fields, yet receive very little training on managing money, investing, taxes, or building wealth. As a result, they may earn good salaries but still make financial decisions that prevent long-term growth. Without financial education, it is easy to fall into patterns that appear responsible but do not actually build wealth. Taxes are another factor that can significantly affect middle-class finances. Salaried employees often have taxes automatically deducted from their paychecks before they even receive their income. Meanwhile, some forms of investment income or business ownership may offer more flexibility in tax planning. This does not mean employees cannot build wealth, but it highlights how different income structures can influence financial outcomes. Understanding how taxes work is an important step toward improving financial efficiency. Time is perhaps the most powerful force affecting wealth creation, yet it is often underestimated. The concept of compound growth shows that money invested early has the ability to grow exponentially over decades. Even small investments can become large sums when given enough time. However, many middle-class individuals delay investing because they believe they need a large amount of money to begin. Others wait for the perfect moment in the market or feel uncertain about where to start. Unfortunately, every year of delay reduces the potential impact of compounding. Starting early, even with modest amounts, can make an enormous difference over the long term. Another hidden obstacle for the middle class is the comfort of routine. Stability and routine can make life predictable and manageable, but they can also discourage experimentation and risk-taking. Building wealth often requires exploring new opportunities, such as starting a side business, investing in unfamiliar assets, learning new financial skills. These actions may feel uncomfortable at first, especially for people who value security. Yet growth frequently occurs outside the boundaries of routine behavior. The wealthy often develop a mindset that sees money as a tool for creating opportunities rather than simply covering expenses. They focus on multiplying resources rather than just preserving them. This difference in mindset can lead to very different financial outcomes over time. When someone begins to think about money strategically, they start asking different questions. Instead of asking how to afford something, they ask how to make money produce more money. Instead of focusing only on job security, they consider ways to build income streams that are not tied directly to hours worked. These mindset shifts gradually change financial behavior and open the door to new possibilities. Ultimately, the reason many middle-class families struggle to become wealthy is not a single mistake, but a combination of habits, beliefs, and financial structures that reinforce each other. The salary trap limits income growth. Lifestyle inflation consumes raises. Liabilities outweigh assets. Debt absorbs cash flow. And delayed investing weakens the power of compounding. Together, these forces create a cycle that is difficult to escape without awareness and intentional change. The encouraging truth, however, is that understanding these patterns is the first step toward breaking them. Once someone recognizes how these financial dynamics operate, they can begin to make different choices. Small adjustments made consistently over time can gradually shift the direction of a person's financial life. Wealth rarely appears overnight. Instead, it is usually the result of disciplined habits repeated for many years. By focusing on acquiring assets, controlling lifestyle inflation, reducing unnecessary debt, learning financial skills, and investing consistently, individuals can begin moving away from the patterns that keep the middle class financially stuck. The journey toward financial independence begins with awareness, followed by education, and then consistent action. Many people believe the middle class is the safest place to be in society. You are not poor, you are not struggling to survive every day, and you are not extremely rich either. You have a job, a home, maybe a car, and you can pay your bills most of the time. From the outside, it looks comfortable, stable, even successful. But behind this appearance lies a quiet financial trap that millions of people never escape. The truth is that the system most middle-class people follow is designed to keep them busy, stressed, and financially stuck for decades. It begins with a simple belief that is repeated since childhood. Study hard, get good grades, find a stable job, work for 40 years, and eventually you will be secure. At first, this advice sounds logical and safe. Parents repeat it because they want stability for their children. Schools reinforce it because the system needs workers. Society celebrates it because it keeps everything running smoothly. But very few people stop to question whether this path actually leads to financial freedom. The reality is that for most middle-class families, this path leads to a lifetime of working without ever truly getting ahead. Think about the typical middle-class life. A young person finishes school and immediately begins searching for a job. They are told that the more education they get, the more money they will make. So many of them take large student loans, believing it is an investment in their future. Years later, they graduate, excited and hopeful, only to realize that their first paycheck is already partially gone because debt must be repaid. From the very beginning of their career, they are not building wealth. They are paying off obligations. This creates a cycle where earning money does not mean becoming richer. It simply means paying what is already owed. Once the job begins, another pattern slowly forms. The paycheck arrives, bills are paid, and whatever remains is used for living expenses and small comforts. Rent or mortgage payments take a large portion. Utilities, groceries, insurance, transportation, and other costs quietly absorb the rest. At the end of the month, very little is left. Many people promise themselves that they will start saving once their salary increases. But something unexpected happens every time income rises. Lifestyle rises with it. A slightly higher salary leads to a nicer apartment, a newer car, better gadgets, more dining out, and bigger vacations. None of these things feel like mistakes because they are seen as rewards for hard work. Yet over time, they quietly keep people locked in the same financial position. Income goes up, expenses go up, and real progress stays the same. Another powerful force that keeps the middle class stuck is social pressure. Humans naturally compare themselves with the people around them. If neighbors buy a bigger house, it suddenly feels necessary to upgrade. If coworkers drive luxury cars, the pressure to match that image grows stronger. Social media makes this even more intense because everyone displays the highlights of their life: new purchases, fancy restaurants, travel photos, celebrations. Rarely does anyone show the debt, stress, or financial pressure behind those images. As a result, many people chase a lifestyle that looks successful but is actually financed by loans and credit cards. Debt slowly becomes normal. A credit card is used for small purchases at first, then for bigger ones. Eventually, it becomes a tool for maintaining a lifestyle that income alone cannot support. The danger is not just the interest rates. The real danger is psychological. Debt creates the illusion that we can afford things today that we have not yet earned. This delays the moment when we realize our financial reality. Instead of adjusting spending habits early, people continue the same pattern for years until the debt becomes overwhelming. By then, changing direction feels extremely difficult. At the same time, the traditional job system quietly reinforces dependence. Most middle-class workers rely on a single source of income: their salary. If that salary stops, everything stops. Bills still arrive, responsibilities remain, but the financial engine disappears. This is why many people feel trapped in jobs they dislike. They cannot risk losing their paycheck because their entire life depends on it. The fear of instability becomes stronger than the desire for freedom. Over time, the routine becomes automatic. Wake up early, commute to work, spend hours completing tasks, return home tired, repeat the process 5 days a week. Weeks turn into months, months into years, and eventually decades pass in the same rhythm. The most surprising part is that many people do not notice how fast this time disappears. Life becomes a sequence of responsibilities and small breaks. Weekends, short vacations, holidays. These moments provide relief, but they do not change the overall pattern. Financial progress remains slow because the system rewards consistency more than creativity. Schools rarely teach financial intelligence. Students learn mathematics, history, science, and literature, but very few learn how money truly works. Concepts like investing, compound growth, asset creation, cash flow management, and passive income are often missing from the education system. As adults, many people enter the workforce without understanding how wealth is actually built. They know how to earn money, but not how to make money work for them. This difference is crucial. The wealthy often focus on acquiring assets, things that generate income over time. These can include businesses, investments, intellectual property, or real estate that produces cash flow. The middle class, on the other hand, is often encouraged to focus on liabilities that look like assets. A large house, an expensive car, luxury items, and constant upgrades create the appearance of wealth, but rarely generate income. Instead, they require continuous payments. This means the owner must keep working to maintain them. Another subtle trap is the comfort zone created by moderate success. When someone is extremely poor, the urgency to change their situation can be powerful. When someone is extremely wealthy, they often have the knowledge and resources to grow even further. But the middle class lives in a space that feels stable enough to avoid drastic change and stressful enough to prevent true freedom. This balance keeps many people moving forward slowly, without ever questioning the direction. Inflation quietly adds another challenge. Over time, the cost of living increases. Groceries become more expensive, housing prices rise, healthcare costs grow, education becomes more costly, and everyday services slowly demand more money. Even if salaries increase, they often struggle to keep up with these changes. This means that maintaining the same lifestyle requires more work each year. Without investments that grow faster than inflation, saving money alone becomes less effective over time. Technology and automation are also changing the nature of work. Many traditional jobs are evolving or disappearing as machines and software become more efficient. For workers who depend entirely on one skill or one position, this can create uncertainty. The world is shifting toward adaptability, multiple income streams, and continuous learning. Those who rely only on the old model of stable, lifelong employment may find themselves unprepared for these changes. Yet, despite all these challenges, there is also an important truth that is often overlooked. The middle class is not powerless. The system may be structured in certain ways, but individuals still have the ability to change their approach to money, learning, and opportunity. The first step is awareness. When people begin to see the patterns that keep them financially stuck, they can start making different decisions. This might begin with something simple, like tracking expenses and understanding where money truly goes each month. Small realizations often lead to bigger shifts. Another powerful step is developing financial literacy. Learning about investing, business models, digital opportunities, and long-term wealth building can completely transform how someone views income. Instead of relying only on active work, people can begin exploring ways to create assets that generate value even when they are not working directly. The digital age has made this more accessible than ever before. Online businesses, content creation, remote services, digital products, and global marketplaces allow individuals to build income streams that were nearly impossible a generation ago. Of course, this path requires patience and discipline. There are no instant solutions. Building assets takes time, learning, experimentation, and sometimes failure. But unlike the traditional system, where effort mainly benefits an employer, asset building creates something that belongs to the individual. Over years, these assets can grow, multiply, and eventually provide financial flexibility that a single salary rarely achieves. Mindset also plays a crucial role. Many people are conditioned to think of money only in terms of spending and saving. But wealth creation often begins with thinking in terms of ownership and value creation. Instead of asking how much something costs, successful wealth builders ask how something can produce value over time. Instead of focusing only on security, they focus on opportunity. Instead of avoiding risk completely, they learn how to manage it intelligently. Breaking free from the middle-class trap does not mean abandoning stability or rejecting hard work. It means expanding beyond the traditional formula that limits financial growth. It means understanding that income alone rarely creates wealth. It means recognizing that time is the most valuable asset and using it to build systems that work even when we are resting. The journey starts with a simple question that very few people ask themselves honestly. Am I building a life that depends entirely on my constant effort, or am I building assets that will eventually support my freedom? The answer to this question determines whether someone will remain stuck in the endless cycle of earning and spending, or move gradually toward a future where money becomes a tool rather than a constant pressure.